Yo, are your designs not selling? Let's talk about it. What's happening, everybody? Boy Big Brando, and today let's talk about why your designs might not be selling. Now let me start the video off by saying I don't know everything. This is just what I do to sell my t-shirt designs, so I'm hoping this information helps you well too. Now before I start any design, I always have a target audience in mind, meaning I'm designing with the purpose. I'm designing for a certain group, for a certain person, for a certain individual to buy my design. Now, a lot of times when people hear me say this in video, they're like, well, I already thought about these designs. How can I get people to buy these designs now? To me, that's working ass backwards. And I try not to do that as much as possible. Now, one of the biggest reasons is because it makes the sell easier when you're designing with a purpose. When I say designing with a purpose, I mean before you sit down and start curating this design, or you sit in front of Illustrator or Photoshop or whatever you use, you should know exactly who you're making this for. A lot of people struggle with this. A lot of people don't know how to figure that part out. A lot of people don't understand who they want to sell to. They're just thinking of cool shit that they want to see on a t-shirt, and then they're figuring out who to sell it to after. For me and my business, I'm all about making the sale easier on myself. Now, I still design for myself. I'm still making designs that I want to see, but the customer comes first in my eyes. I'm making sure that I'm designing something for a certain target audience, so that way I can target that audience with this new product and this new design that I'm putting out. Now, how do you find this? How do you find your target audience? How do you figure this part out? This is what I do. I think about a certain group of people and I'm like, all right, what can I make for this certain group of people that they will relate to? You guys always hear me talk about making designs relatable. When you make something that the core audience will relate to, half of the battle is done already, because now you're making something that somebody's genuinely interested in. Now, when you create a design that doesn't have a target audience attached to it and you just create something that you think is cool, trying to fit that product into a certain target audience is one of the hardest things to do, because now you have to go to the target audience and say, hey, look at this product right here. This is why you should be interested in it. But when you make something relatable, you're bringing a product to the market, to a target audience that they're already interested in. This is what a lot of people struggle with. So before you start designing anything, make sure you have a target audience that you can sell it to, a core group of people that would be interested in the product that you're making. Now, for example, this is my design right here. This is the Barrel Man. If you know what the Barrel Man is, then you understand what this design means. I made this design and I drew this Barrel Man for the people that understand what the Barrel Man is. The target audience is somebody that grew up with this man in his house. Or maybe you had an uncle that had this man in his house. Or maybe your favorite restaurant had this man on their countertop. This right here only means something to a small group of people. Most of you guys watching this right now, I'm like, who the hell is the Barrel Man? If you have a friend that's an islander, and this goes for everybody, Polynesian, Micronesian, Melanesian, Filipino, doesn't matter. If you have somebody in your life that is an islander, they know what the Barrel Man is. They've seen it before. They own one, their parents own one, their uncle owns one. Somebody in their life has this floating around. I got one on the shelf back here. It's funny. So the reason why I made this design is because it's funny. And because I wanted to see it personally on a t-shirt, I knew that there would be a certain group of people that would understand what this means. So as you can see, it says, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. If you know what the Barrel Man is, then you know the Barrel Man is always ready. So if I made this design and I didn't have a target audience in mind, and I just said, all right, let me put this design out, it would be hard for me to find the audience that would relate to this, because you, the consumer, or you, the person watching this video right now, might not even know what that is. So it doesn't mean nothing to you. So you're like, all right, here's some wooden figurine that's printed on the t-shirt. That doesn't do nothing for me. But since I have a target audience for this design, I know who to market it to. I know who to get this t-shirt in front of, because I have the target audience in mind on who I'm designing this for. This is what I mean when I say make the design relatable and make the sell easier on yourself. This design is relatable to a certain group of people. I made this design for that group of people. Now, in my marketing, I know exactly what group of people I need to show this to. Does that mean everybody's gonna buy it? No. But when I say make the sell easier, now I know exactly who to go to sell this. I know exactly who to market this to, and I have a better chance at selling these because it's going to a group that will relate to this design. This is part of the game that a lot of people don't talk about. People talk about what transfers to use, what heat press to use, what vinyl cutter to use, but then the information stops there. This is part of the business that a lot of people struggle with, and this is the part of the business that a lot of people stop selling t-shirts because they can't figure out how to sell the t-shirts. The way I stay in business is because I always have the end user in mind whenever I'm creating a design, because I want to make the sell easier on myself. I don't want to have to sit there and talk to every single customer until I'm blue in the face about one t-shirt design. I want those people to look at the shirt, understand what it is, and decide for themselves if they want to buy it. So if you already have a ton of designs that you already designed up and you're trying to figure out who to sell it to, when you made that design, who are you making it for? What was the thought process in your head? Who did you think needed to wear it? A lot of times we're like, I'm just trying to make my logo t-shirt, or I'm trying to put my brand name on everything, and I'm trying to get that out to the people. When you try to get that kind of stuff out to the people, you find it very hard to sell that product because nobody relates to that product. Nobody's excited about your brand name. Nobody's excited about your new logo because they don't understand what it is. So before you do that, think about the end user. Think about your core audience, your target audience, who you want to sell to. What can you make that they'll relate to? What can you make to get them excited? What can you make that'll make a complete stranger spend their hard-earned money with you based on the design alone? The way I do it, I make stuff that's relatable. Before I start the design process, I'm thinking of who I want to sell this to, so that way I could cater that design to that audience. And when I cater to that audience, they're the ones that's going to buy from me. They're the ones that's going to spend their hard-earned money with me. So why not make that part way easier on myself and make them something that they can relate to? See what I mean? Now, a lot of times people are going to get hung up on this process. I'm like, well, who's my target audience? And they'll ask me in the comments, I want to make shirts that are like this. Who's my target audience? Before you want to make shirts like this, think about who you're going to sell to. That's what makes the design process a little easier on yourself, is understanding who you want to sell to. A lot of people just think about the design, but they don't know who they're going to sell to. Reverse engineer that and think about who you want to sell to first, and then make designs for that group. A lot of people get caught up in the dreamer phase. When I say the dreamer phase, I'm talking about the people that are having big dreams of, I want to sell t-shirts to the world. I want to sell t-shirts to everybody. I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to put myself in a box. I want to sell to everybody. When you do that, how can you make designs that relate to everybody? You can't. There's so many different people in the world. So what I found out that works better for me is I want to get to the money faster. So instead of having the big dreams and the big goals, I make smaller goals for myself. That way I got money coming in, I'm getting my reps in, and I'm building the brand as it goes. Long time ago, I stopped wanting to sell to the world. And the reason I did that was because I seen way more success in the smaller wins, and I was able to track my growth by selling to smaller audiences. Because to be completely honest, we're in this to make money. We want to make t-shirts and sell them to the people and make as much money as possible. The only way we can make as much money as possible is by getting to the money quicker. Getting to the money quicker means I'm going to sell to a smaller audience. And once I outsell that audience, I'll move on to the next audience and start to grow from there and grow from there. But we all come into this game thinking I want to sell stuff to the world. I don't want to limit myself. I don't want to put myself in a box. And I get that. And it's cool to dream big. There's nothing wrong with dreaming big. But at a certain point, you have to stop being a dreamer and you have to come to grips with what your reality is. And your reality is you haven't sold shit yet. So you could keep dreaming and keep wanting to sell to the world. But if you ain't selling nothing, there's people like me that are all about the shorter wins and the smaller wins that's capitalizing on each and every single sale because our dreams are a little bit smaller now. We understand that dreaming smaller is the starting point and we can always grow from there. Everybody wants to be at the top right when they come out. Everybody wants the dream of being at the top. For myself, if this is a high-rise building, I'm taking the stairs. I'm not even taking the elevator. I'm starting at the bottom and I'm walking up each single step. on my own. The goal is still to be up here, but I am fucking down with just walking up the stairs at my own pace. Because at that point, nobody's in my way. Nobody's slowing me down. I'm doing things my way. I got into this business to be my own boss, to not answer to nobody else, to not let anybody else hold up my progress. Everybody else wants to jump on the elevator, and that's cool. You'll get there faster, right? But at the same exact time, if you jump into that elevator with 20 people going to 20 different floors, you're stopping at every single floor and you're letting everybody else stop you. So for myself, I'm taking the stairs. I got no problem with it. Every single transaction is me taking the next step to get to where I want to be. I'm all about the hard work. There's no get rich quick. There's no secret sauce and no secret formula to this. I promote hard work. I promote free thinking. When I put those things together, how can I make my life easier? How can I carve out my own career path to the top? It's never taking the elevator. It's always taking the stairs. Hopefully this video helps somebody out there. Hopefully this opens somebody's eyes who is struggling to sell their t-shirt designs. I'm not saying get rid of your t-shirt designs, but I am saying when you sit down to create a design, before you start drawing, before you start anything, understand who you want to sell that to and then design towards that person, because now you have an audience to market that design to. Instead of making the design and then finding the audience after that, make it easier on yourself. Try it out for yourself, see if it works. This is how I operate and it's proven to work for me. And if you know who the Barrel Man is, and if you wanted to own the Barrel Man t-shirt, check it out on bigbrando.com or here at my retail store, and they come with Barrel Man stickers. If you got any questions, make sure you leave it in the comments for me. If you know what the Barrel Man is, leave it in the comments for me. Or if you had to Google it to figure out what it is, leave it in the comments for me, all right? Follow me on Instagram, BigBrandoTV. Catch you guys on the next one, man. Yeah.